community. There was no one here. They're doing a 9/11. I'm sure there was, no?
I wasn't at the shul at that time. Morning, everybody. Okay, part 2. We're on Nun Beis and Aleph. Yaron, you got it? Okay, we're so happy that you're back, Yaron. We're so happy to have you back.
Always here.
Okay, well, Nun Beis and Aleph, 52A Yosef Tzadik. Good to see you. Nun Beis and Aleph. Good day. Okay, so what we're saying is the question of Beit Shammai. Beit Shammai seemed to indicate that you talk about the day first, right? Because Beit Shammai says, say a nice bracha.
So now I have a question. It might be too hot, so I don't know if I do the bracha, I'm going to be drinking. Can I try it first and after I do the bracha?
But again, no, no. Even if it's too hot, you'll drink at least a drop.
Yeah.
So therefore, that's good enough.
So, okay, what should that?
My father's Shalom David ben Rav Yaakov Aharon.
Rabbi Shalom David
Ben Rav Yaakov Aharon. Amen. As long as you swallow any amount, that means you were fine. Because you have to say a bracha on any amount. Therefore, it's fine. Okay. 52A. So the Gemara says, Savi Beit Shammai. The Beit Shammai hold the Birkat Hayom Adifa, that the bracha on the day is greater. Meaning greater means that you're supposed to mention it first, because you're supposed to recognize the day first. Therefore, according to Beit Shammai, you're supposed to go ahead and say the bracha on the kiddush, and the gefa is last. But Tanya, we learned in a Braita. Hanichnas lebeisov b'motzei Shabbat. You have it, Yaron, on 52A. Someone who comes into, we have some nice brachot on the food. Hanichnas lebeisov b'motzei Shabbat. Hanichnas lebeisov b'motzei Shabbat. If someone enters his house on Motzei Shabbat, a Saturday night, Mivarech al hayayin. He says on the wine, he says abor pei gefer. Al ma'or, on the light, he says abor moreish. Al psamim, on the psamim, he says abor mei psamim. And then v'achar kach om havdalah. And then afterwards he says havdalah. So the bracha of havdalah, the bracha of Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu Melech Haolam Ma'avdil B'Kol Shachol B'No L'Choshech, is the last bracha that he says. He said that to the group, Akiva?
Yes,
thank you very much. So now, v'im ein lo elokos echad. Let's say the person only has 1 cup of wine. And now what's the issue? The issue is that this opinion is going that you need a cup of wine for Birkat HaMazon. Like we spoke about, there's a machloket, there's an argument in the Gemara. Does Birkat HaMazon require a kos? When you say Birkat HaMazon, do you need to say Birkat HaMazon over a cup of wine? Or you don't need to say Birkat HaMazon over a cup of wine? So this Gemara's opinion is you need to say Birkat HaMazon over a cup of wine. The same way you have to say Kiddush and Shabbat over a cup of wine. You say Havdalah over a cup of wine. You need to say Birkat HaMazon over a cup of wine. You give honor to the Birkat HaMazon. Why do you say Kiddush over a cup of wine? You're giving honor to the Kiddush. What is Kiddush? Kiddush, when you say Kiddush, what are you doing when you say Kiddush? You are sanctifying the Shabbat. You are talking about the holiness of Shabbat. The rabbi said that when you talk about the holiness of Shabbat, you should do it over a what? Cup of wine. So therefore, that's why we do Havdalah over a what? Cup of wine. So therefore, there's an opinion that says also when you do the mitzvah min HaTorah of Birkat HaMazon, you should do it over what? Cup of wine. So now, if I only have 1 cup of wine, I want to have a meal. It's Motzei Shabbat. It's Saturday night. I want to have Malava Malka. I want to have a meal Saturday night. I didn't make Havdalah yet. I came home Motzei Shabbat. I need to make Havdalah, but I need to have Birkat HaMazon. So what am I supposed to do? If I make Havdalah on the cup of wine, and then I go eat my meal, I'm not gonna have a cup of wine for the meal. So you know what it says to do? It says you can eat your meal before Havdalah. The Tosfos is going to ask a question. What do you mean? It's a big sin to eat before Havdalah. Are you allowed to eat before Havdalah, Motzei Shabbat? Sharon, are you allowed to eat before Havdalah? No, it's a big sin. So what's going on over here? So Tosfos says that one answer of Tosfos was that let's say you're not going to get, what's the halacha if you're not going to get a cup of wine? If let's say it's Motzei Shabbat, Saturday night, it's time to say Havdalah. I don't have a cup of wine. Am I allowed to eat? So what is it? So let's say I have beer. I can do it on beer. I have whiskey. I can do it on whiskey. I have tea. Maybe some say you can do it on tea. But let's say I don't have any of those beverages. I don't have any other option. I don't have the second place option to do it over some other drinks. Right. I don't have it. I don't have all those drinks. We're not living in a rich country like America. We're somewhere out. We're out in the African jungle, and or we're camping out somewhere, and we're deep in the forest, whatever. So what do? I don't have wine to make Havdalah Saturday night. Am I allowed to eat without wine or not? So what does the halacha say? The halacha says it depends. When do you plan on getting wine? If you plan on getting wine later that evening.
Can you do that? You still bring the Havdalah, but not like the.
No, but you wouldn't say you say Amavdu, you said Atachanatan, you say Bracha Amavdu B'Kol Shechol, but you will not say the bracha of Havdalah if you don't have anything to say it over, right?
Yeah.
You need to have something to say it over. So, what does the Shulchan Aruch say? The Shulchan Aruch says.
The rabbi, you need to have a full cup of wine, meaning you have to have a revi'it.
You have to have a revi'it. You have to have 3 ounces.
So if you have 2 revi'it, one for Havdalah and one for Birkat Hamazon,
then you're good. Then
you in the same cup.
Yeah, then you can always add wine to that cup.
There's no more wine.
Again,
one cup of wine.
One cup of wine.
One full cup of wine with more than revi'it inside, right?
Do I have to, right? So if I have more than a revi'it inside, so therefore technically I only have to drink malei lugmav. So let's say if I would have 1.5 revi'it, right? So let's say I would have, let's say I have 2 revi'it, so that I could use I would go ahead and use 50%. I would use 3 ounces. I would make Havdalah first on 1 cup of wine. Let's say fill it up to the top. I'll use a cup that's only. No, because I didn't start eating. I came home Motzei Shabbat.
Oh, okay.
I came home Motzei Shabbat. So if I have 2 cups of wine, so first I'll say Havdalah, and then I'll go ahead Birkat Hamazon, and then I'll use the second cup for Birkat Hamazon. But if I don't have 2 cups, I have exactly revi'it. If exactly revi'it, and I don't have more, what do I do then? So I have only 1 cup of wine. So the Gemara says you could go ahead and eat first. The Gemara says I could go ahead and eat first. That's what the Gemara says. I could eat first before Havdalah. So the question: how can I eat before Havdalah? So one idea is, some say if I don't have wine, some say I'm allowed to eat. I can't use water. So some say that when you don't have wine, and since I don't have the wine for Havdalah because I'm going to need it for the Birkat Hamazon, I don't need to wait. Some say I could eat, like the Shulchan Aruch says. If I don't have wine, some say I could eat without making Havdalah, and then when I get the wine, I make Havdalah. Others say if I'm going to get wine tomorrow, I should not eat. Let's say if I'm going to get wine before Chatzot tomorrow, I'm going to get wine before noon tomorrow, before 1 o'clock, I should not eat. Some say
Rabbi, just to understand.
Yes.
We're saying that we're doing Birkat Amazon and that I have only one cup of wine because of what? Because the wine is more chashuv for Birkat Amazon, or because Birkat Amazon is.
So what you're going to do is, if you have only one cup of wine, you're going to do both Birkat Hamazon and Havdalah over this cup of wine.
But you need to eat first.
But I'm eating first. Because I drink it for Havdalah first, I'm not going to have a cup of wine for the Birkat Hamazon.
This is what I'm saying. Havdalah is more chashuv, right?
Havdalah is more chashuv.
Birkat Amazon is more chashuv.
I'm going to be doing Havdalah and Birkat Hamazon. The only thing is I'm doing both. I'm going to be saying Birkat Hamazon and Havdalah over this one cup of wine. I'm just eating before Havdalah. That's the thing I'm doing. And they're making an allowance for me to eat before Havdalah. Why are they making an allowance for me to eat before Havdalah? Because either you could say because it's like I don't have any wine. The fact that I can't use this wine for Havdalah now, it's like I have no wine. And we're allowing the person to eat. And it's like we're saying that when you have no wine available, you have a right to eat before Havdalah, according to this opinion. We said there's a second opinion in Shulchan Aruch that says that if you're going to have tomorrow, if you're going to have wine tomorrow, you're not supposed to eat tonight. If you don't have, if you don't have, and wait till tomorrow to make Havdalah. So some say the Chafetz Chaim says it's possible that according to this opinion, you do not have to wait after Chatzot. If a person knows I'm not going to get wine till tomorrow afternoon, Sunday afternoon, I could eat. I don't have to wait till Sunday afternoon to eat. I could eat Saturday night. So, but Tosfos seems to be saying, because Tosfos has a question. There was a rabbi who, when he didn't have wine, he didn't eat. So how could you eat before Havdalah over here? So Tosfos says that rabbi, he thought he'll have wine tomorrow. Or he was more strict. That's why he didn't eat. But here, when you need a cup of wine for Birkat Hamazon, so I'm stuck. I have no wine. What am I supposed to do? I have no wine, and I'm not getting. Let's say I'm not getting any other wine. I don't have any other wine. I'm not getting a second cup of wine till tomorrow afternoon. I'm not going to get another cup of wine till tomorrow afternoon. So what do you want me to do? You want me not to eat? But I don't have to wait so long. I don't have to wait till tomorrow afternoon. I'm allowed to eat. So I'll eat. Then I'll say Havdalah and Birkat Hamazon over this one cup of wine. But look at the order. Look what the Gemara says.
Rabbi, let's say I'm not going to do Havdalah tonight. I won't eat tonight. Maybe tomorrow I'm going to get one. Tomorrow I didn't get one. I'm not hungry at that time. I want to do Havdalah. I can do Havdalah. And I have only one cup of wine, and after I'm free.
But what about you don't plan on? You don't want to eat. You're not planning on eating. If you don't plan on eating, it's not a problem. Fine. The only question was if you wanted to eat. I want to have bread, and because I want to have bread, and this opinion says I need to have a cup of wine when I say Birkat Hamazon. If I have Havdalah first, I'm not going to have a cup of wine for Birkat Hamazon. Therefore, I'm allowed to go ahead and eat. And after I eat, I'll say Birkat Hamazon and Havdalah over this one cup of wine. You ever see when Yom Tov comes out on Shabbat? You use one cup of wine for Kiddush, and the same cup of wine you use for Havdalah. Right? I think this on the holiday we do. I'm saying we do use the same cup of wine for both mitzvot. So here we're going to use the same cup of wine to perform both mitzvot, to perform the mitzvah of Havdalah on the same cup of wine, and also to do Birkat Hamazon over this.
So how we do it?
Cup of wine.
So I eat bread.
To eat bread. So look at the Gemara. So look what the Gemara said. Here, look at the case of the Gemara. Yeah. Read the Gemara. Three lines. You want to read the Gemara, Yarosh? I'll let you give you the want to read the Gemara. La Tanya. 3 lines from the top.
והתניא,
Yes.
והתניא נכסה לביתו במוצאי שבת לברך על היין ועל המאור
Right.
ועל הבשמים, ואחר כך אומר הבדלה, ואם אין לו אלא כוס אחד,
If you only have 1 cup,
מניחו
לאחר המזון.
לאחד המזון.
You leave it for after you ate. You eat first, because you have no other cup, and you have a right to eat, because let's say you're not going to get another cup till tomorrow afternoon, so you don't have to wait. Manichal achar mazon.
המזון, ומשלשלם
Kulam, and all the brachot go after the Birkat HaMazon. So what does it mean? You say Birkat HaMazon first. After you say Birkat HaMazon, then you'll say, according to this opinion, it would seem then you would say Hagefen, then you would say Eish, then you say Samim, and then you would say the bracha of Havdalah. So what would you do? You would say, you hold a cup of wine, and you would say Birkat HaMazon, and then you would say Hagefen, and then you would say Eish, then you would say Samim, and then you would say Baruch Atah Hashem Okelim Achol Mavdu B'Kol Shachol Ben Al Choshech, Baruch Atah Hashem Mavdu at the end of Mavdu B'Kol Shachol, and then you drink this cup of wine. That's what you would do. But when do you say Hamavdil? When do you say the bracha of Havdalah? At the end, after you said the Bar Pei Gefen. So that's the Gemara's question. You told me that Beis Shammai holds the Havdalah, the bracha of Havdalah comes first. And here it says that the bracha of Gefen comes before.
Maybe Beit Shammai thought we had enough wine. It doesn't matter. Maybe he said we have enough wine to do Havdalah first, and after to do Birkat and to do Gefen on.
But Beis Shammai says whether you have enough wine. But Beis Shammai says when you do Havdalah, you're supposed to talk about the day first. It shouldn't make a difference whether I use one. I'm not making Birkat. I'm using. It's not because I'm using 1 cup of wine over to do both mitzvot. It should not affect the order of the Havdalah. Why am I saying? I'm saying Birkat HaMazon first. After I say Birkat HaMazon, then I'm saying the Gefen. Why should I say the Gefen first? I should talk about the day. I should talk about the Havdalah. I should talk about the same logic. Why do I have a cup by Birkat HaMazon? Because I ate bread. So what brings the cup? The bread. Because I had a meal. If I have wine. So what comes first? The bread comes before the wine, right? So the Gemara's logic is that now maybe you're saying a good thought. You're saying maybe this is different because once I need to say the Birkat HaMazon on the Birkat HaMazon on the bread. So maybe I should say the wine. I should say the wine first. But remember, Beis Shammai said 2 reasons. One reason Beis Shammai said was what comes first and what comes second. Motzei Shabbat comes first. Usually Havdalah, let's say he said Shabbat, what comes first? Before you have the wine, it's already Shabbat. You have to talk about the Shabbat before the wine because the Shabbat entered. The Shabbat has come. Why does he say Friday night, morning Avram, morning Shmuel? Why does he say Friday night? Right? What does he say Friday night? What should you do Friday night? He says Friday night, you go ahead and you say Kiddush Bracha first and then the Gefen. Why the Kiddush Bracha first, then the Gefen? Because the Shabbat has come. The Shabbat is here before the wine comes. So the Shabbat has entered, so I should talk about the Shabbat first before I even talk about the wine. Based on that logic, that reason, so Motzei Shabbat, Saturday night, Havdalah has come. Shabbat is over. So I should talk about that before I get into the wine. And that came before I even ate my meal. I started eating my meal after Shabbat. So I started my meal after Shabbat. So when should I say the bracha? When should I talk about Havdalah? I should definitely talk about Havdalah as soon as I can, because Havdalah, the Havdalah, the separation of the day came before.
I don't know, but what I understand is when you don't have more wine.
I understand.
this is-
Right, but the question, should that make a difference? That's the question.
But
The
this is what
fa-
we learn when that-
Right,
from
but,
Birkat
but,
Hamazon
but,
more
but,
chashuv.
right, but the good, so the Birkat Hamazon comes first, but why should the wine, that now I have other brachos to say. I said Birkat Hamazon. Now I have the bracha of Geffen, I have the bracha of
You're talking
Havdalah.
about- okay, we
Right,
understand
once
that.
we understand, let's say the Birkat Hamazon came first, for some reason, but that's also a matter of question, but the Birkat Hamazon came first. But why is it that the Geffen comes before the Havdalah? You should be, the Havdalah should come before the Geffen. That's the Gemara's question. If Beis Shammai holds, you have to talk about the day first, you have to honor the day first, so you should honor the day. You should honor the day by talking about the day before you get into the Geffen. By the way, I think, by the way,
Shabbat is like Havdalah, we just have to for the brachot. So basically, it's over. So the chashuv at the moment right now is the Birkat Hamazon.
right, so,
Because we just ate.
I said, I just ate, so the first thing is you ate, you have to say Birkat Hamazon. So I said Birkat Hamazon. But now, after I said Birkat Hamazon,
I know
now, why do we Geffen? That's the what meaning, right? If you hold that you're supposed to go ahead and talk about the holiness of the day first, so then you should have Havdalah should come first. That's the Gemara's question. By the way, I think you should know Motzei Shabbat, when you come off shul Motzei Shabbat Saturday night, I think it's good to say Havdalah sooner than later. You know why? Because if you delay, you might forget, and someone might eat before Havdalah.
Even drink, no?
You know what I'm saying? What about drink?
Even drink, you cannot drink. Like,
So there's
if you don't need it, I don't think you should have.
before Havdalah?
Yeah.
So it's brought down that technically, according to the law, you're allowed to have water before Havdalah. But there are many people that don't even have that, right? Motzei Shabbat, you're allowed to have water before Havdalah. We'll see what the Yalkut Yosef says about that. Do you see anybody having water before Havdalah? People don't do that. People make sure to do Havdalah before.
They need to drink.
Yes, they need to drink. If they want to have a cup of soda, they're not
That's
allowed to
why,
have a
yeah,
cup of
that's-
soda. They're not allowed to have a cup of soda. They want to drink. They can't have a cup of orange juice. But you see, it says the Yalkut Yosef says you're not allowed to eat or drink, not allowed to eat anything or drink wine or other beverages except water. Except water once it gets dark. So he says, but I recall for the Aruch HaShulchan says that some people have a custom not even to drink water before Havdalah. Okay, so that's, but I think the problem is when people delay Havdalah, what happens as a result of delay, someone could forget. Especially, a person has other guests in their house or something like that. But people, first of all, not everyone might be on top of their game as much as you are. And you know not to eat before Havdalah. But people, people might forget. I recommend you come home, say Havdalah first. Anyways, you don't want to delay, you have the mitzvah. The Shabbat queen has left. You have the mitzvah, you should, I would say, do the mitzvah. So that's the Gemara's question. So,
Rabbi, maybe they're talking about if you start your meal during Shabbat and Shabbat is over, what you have to do first.
oh, but look at the case of the Gemara. He came into his house Motzei Shabbat. The case was he came into his house Motzei Shabbat on Saturday night.
Good question.
So the Gemara says, okay, you're having a question, you're asking a question about Shammai. First word of the line. How do you know it's Beis Shammai? You're saying this seems to be a stira. Maybe it's not Beis Shammai. Maybe it's Beis Hillel. And Beit Hillel is a different man, different law, different people hold different things. Different rabbis have a right to hold different opinions. So the Gemara says, and we're going to end with this. Lo salkadaita. This Braita is not Beit Hillel. This Braita has to be Beis Shammai. And because it's Beis Shammai, we have a contradiction of Beis Shammai on Beis Shammai. Why? Because Diktani, what is the order of the Braita, the order of the Samim, and it says fire and then Samim. And we know Beis Hillel says Samim and then fire. So that's what the Gemara says. The Gemara says, we'll continue tomorrow regarding this discussion. Have a great day, everybody. Now tomorrow we might only have before 6:45. Maybe we might only have one session tomorrow. So let's try to encourage everybody, because I might have to go to the college to meet the boys. Or the college to learn with the boys. So let's try to do a session. For everyone to be here. Thank you very much. Want me to give you, you're gonna give it, Mars, you're gonna give a makeup call tonight.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Good day.
Have a good day.
Good day.
Everybody.